Welcome to my channel, English for All Reasons Good, based on the CBSE guidelines and syllabus. Here, we aim for high score through smart learning, optimum utilization of time, and less stress. Today, we are going to tackle jumbled words. Yes, they are easy, but they are tricky too. So, it may seem very trivial to you, but it takes only 1 mark to reach a perfect 100. So, this video is for that 1 mark. I mean, that one sentence that seems to be stuck and you are not able to unjumble it. So, watch this video till the end. You may learn a new equation. Equation. Yes, you heard it right. This is not going to be maths. This is not going to be science. This is still English. But don't worry, you have again heard it right. There is an equation to solve it. So let's get started. So before anything else, you should first know what is the basic structure of a sentence. So very quickly I'll do it because you all know it. This is just for the beginners who are just learning to unjumble the sentence. So I'll go very fast. So a basic sentence, it should have a subject, a verb and an object. For example, this sentence, Rohan went to market. So Rohan is subject, went is verb and market is object, and to, obviously it is telling us a relationship between subject and the object here. That is the noun or the pronouns in this sentence, and it is a preposition. So now next, my son lives in London. Another example. So there's a subject, there's a verb, and then there's the object. That is the remaining of the sentence. So a sentence should have all these things. Now another type of the sentence is compound sentence. Very quickly again I'll be doing it. Let's have a look at this example. Mary went to the market to buy rice, but she forgot her purse at home. Now why this sentence is in two colors. Mary went to the market to buy rice. This red part, this is a complete thought, a complete sentence. If I write this sentence individually, Mary went to the market to buy rice, so the meaning is clear. So it is an independent sentence. And if I take this green one, she forgot her purse at home. Now again, if I write this sentence separately, she forgot her purse at home, it is again a complete thought. The meaning is clear. So these two, the red one and the green one, these two sentences, they are two independent sentences. But they are joined with this conjunction but. So therefore, this type of sentence is called a compound sentence. So if two independent sentences, they are joined with a coordinating conjunction, it will become a compound sentence. So in case your jumbled words is having a coordinating conjunction like but, and, so, nor, yet. So you should understand that you will have to make two separate sentences. So there are 7 coordinating conjunctions. Let's have a look at those 7 coordinating conjunctions. So these are the 7 coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So how to remember these? So you can use this acronym to remember these. So the acronym is fanboys: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So if any of this word is coming in the jumbled words that are given, so you have to then understand that you will have to make two separate sentences, and a comma is required to separate the sentences like this. So she is going to the movie, there'll be a comma, then you will write the coordinating conjunction, and then the rest of the sentence, she is going to the mall. So like this it is written. So commas, they are usually provided when the sentence requires a comma or a question mark. So comma or question mark or exclamation mark, these are usually provided with the jumbled words. Now the complex sentence. Let's have a look at this sentence. When I visit my grandmother, I watch my favorite cartoons. So I watch my favorite cartoons. This part of the sentence is complete and the meaning is clear. So it is an independent sentence. But this purple one, when I visit my grandmother, then what? So it is not complete. Therefore, it requires some other sentence to complete its meaning. So that means that this sentence is dependent on the other sentence to make its meaning clear. So it is not a simple sentence, or it is also not a compound sentence because there is no coordinating conjunction here. So therefore this is known as complex sentence. So with this background, now we move on to our subject. We have to now form an equation to unscramble these sentences. So first we will write the basic structure, that is subject plus verb plus object. Now when we have written this, now in a sentence there are adjectives also. So where to place adjectives in this equation? So remember, adjectives they modify the noun or a pronoun in a sentence, and adjectives they come before the noun or a pronoun. So the place of adjectives is fixed. So that means in our equation we can give a fixed position to adjective. So we can write it like this. So now our equation will become like this. So now what it means? It means adjective with the subject plus verb plus adjective with the object, and then whatever remaining words are left, they can be written on one side like this. So let's take an example. So this subject, it is noun or a pronoun, then verb, helping verb and the main verb, that will be written here, and adjective and the object, again noun or a pronoun, it will be written here. The remaining words will have articles, prepositions, adverbs or conjunctions. Now with the example that we did before, Rohan went to market. So here there are no adjectives, but in case there were adjectives, so like this, cricketer Rohan went to the big market. So the adjective here, it is placed before the subject Rohan, and in case of the object it is before the object market. So that means it is according to the equation that we have formed. So now let's try to unjumble the words. Suppose this is the question. So first very basic questions, and after that we'll move on to the complex ones. So first one, called rose the queen the is flowers of. So those who are who have practiced a lot, they can just see the sentence and they will be knowing that what is the answer. But for the beginners, let's try to solve it according to the equation. So first word called. Called is verb. So we will write called under we. Then comes rose. So rose is a subject. It can be a subject because it's a noun. So we will write it below subject. Then the, we will write it under remaining words. Queen, again it can be subject or object. So we can write it here only below the subject. Then next the, we can write it below the remaining words. Is, it is a helping verb, we will write it below we. Flowers, it can be again subject or object, we can write it here below object. There's no problem, we can even write them all under one category, and then while unscrambling we can come to know that which is subject and we can decide which is object. The next word off is left, so we can write off again under remaining words. Now let's see. Now when we have divided our words like this, so it becomes easier for us to choose. So first of all, subject has to come. So we have to pick one out of these. So rose or queen. So what can be the subject? So if we see the verbs after that, so queen is called, so this doesn't, it will not make sense. So if it is rose is called, then it will make sense. So we will choose rose. So rose is called. So you can write these three words first and you can cut them here so that you do not choose these words again. So rose is called once you've written it. So you can cut rose from here like this. You can cut called from here like this. You can cut is. So this is elimination method. So we are eliminating those words which we have already used. Now after that we are left with queen and flowers. So queen is also subject and noun, sorry, and flowers is also noun. So one will be subject, one will be object, or we have to choose that how these are connected in the sentence. So rose is called, we'll write queen and flowers. So it is not making sense and we have to now adjust these words in between. So rose is called queen of flowers. So of, we can cut off from here. So of is here, flowers we have used, queen we have used. So we are left with two the's. So obviously this becomes our sentence. The rose is the queen of flowers. So this is how we have to utilize this equation. It will make a sentence that is a complex one easier for you to do. Now the next sentence, it is related to the first one only. Let's take that. So widely it is an adverb, so it will come under remaining words. It can be a subject, so let's write it below S. Grown, let's write it below V. It's a verb, is a helping verb. Let's write it below V. Then the, we will write below remaining words. All again remaining words. World, it can be object. It is a noun, so let's write it below O. Then over again you can write under the remaining words. So let's try to make it. So since there is only one subject, so sentence will start from here only. So it is grown. So it is clearly visible. It is grown. So write it is grown and keep on eliminating these. So these we have already used. So it is grown. Then there is world. And out of the remaining words, it becomes clear that it is grown all over the world. So let's write all over the world. And now one word is left, that is widely. So where to write widely? So let's read the sentence and we'll come to know where we can write widely. So it is widely grown all over the world, and this becomes our sentence. Now, why widely is written here? There are certain rules where you have to put adverbs. So in the end, I'll be touching those three main rules. Otherwise, there are many rules for placement of adverbs, but I'll be touching three important ones. Now, the next sentence. So again, let's write these words in our equation. So useful is an adjective. So below adjective, we have written useful. Then camel, it will be subject or it will be object. So we'll be writing it here under the first S, all the things. Is will come under verb. Animal, again, it can be subject or object. Then desert, again, under subject. Then the under remaining words, most under remaining words. Then the, again the and in, all these three words under remaining words. So here we are left with very few words and we can see them very clearly, so it is easier for us to make the beginning. So subject, so let's choose the subject. So camel, it is very likely that the sentence will start from camel. So camel is useful animal. So this we can see from here that this is some sort of sentence. It will begin like this. So camel is a useful animal. Then there is the word desert also. Then we have these remaining words in the, so in the desert. So camel is useful animal in the desert. So if we have written this basic thing, after that we can supply rest of the words. So the camel is the most useful animal in the desert. So then our sentence, it will become like this. So after whatever is coming to your mind, seeing the beginning words, so you just write them and then the remaining words you have to fit in those remaining words in the sentence that you have made. So like this it will become easier for you. Next sentence. So wants it will come under verb, everyone will come under subject, these you can write under remaining. To make, it is again verb. Money, it can be subject, it can be object. Quick, it is adjective. Days, again it's a noun, it can be a subject or an object. So now let's begin. So everyone sentence, it will begin from everyone only because there is no other subject to begin the sentence. So everyone, then verb, to make or want. So everyone to make is not making sense. So everyone wants, then to make. So everyone wants to make. Since there is money, so everyone wants to make money. So everyone wants to make money. So sentence is otherwise clear and it is complete, but we have three words left: quick, days and these. So now we have to fit in these words in that sentence. So everyone wants to make quick money because it is adjective, it has to go with one of the noun. So quick money these days. So our sentence is made. So like this we can make our sentences. Now let's do this one. So first was will come under we. Preparing, it is also verb. Old is an adjective, it will go here under adjective. Who, you can write who under remaining words. The under remaining words. Woman, again you can write under subject. Supper, it can be subject, can be object. Then was under we. So now let's see. We have old woman, so we can start this old adjective, it will go with woman, so likely it seems like this only. So old woman was preparing supper. So if we see from here, the sentence should be old woman was preparing supper. So let's eliminate what we have used. Old we have used, woman we have used, supper we have used, was we have used, and preparing. So old woman was preparing supper. The sentence is complete, but still we are left with three words. So we have to fit in these three words. So the can come before old. So the old woman. So let's cut the is used. So the old woman, but we have who also. So we can write here who was preparing supper. So we have used who because there is a comma already given after woman. So that means we can write here who. So the old woman who was preparing supper. So there is comma given after supper also. Now one was is left, so that was will be written here. The old woman who was preparing supper was, then there's no word, but the sentence is not complete. So that means we have to check our words what can come after was. So if we delete this old from here and take it in the last, the woman who was preparing supper was old. So like this, the sentence, we are able to unjumble the sentence into a meaningful sentence. So you have to use the equation and then you have to check that what is making complete sense. The fifth sentence now. So they you can write under subject, then in it will go in remaining words, her again in subject, yard under the subject, surrounded verb, the under remaining, sometimes you can write under remaining, school under subject. So they surrounded her. So we can begin our sentence like this. They surrounded her. Then there is in also. So let's cut what we are writing. They surrounded her in the schoolyard. So this we have written. It's making sense, but sometimes is left. And there is a comma after sometimes. It's already given. So that means sometimes it will come in the beginning. So sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard. So this becomes easy. Now here, his, so we can write this under subject. Belief is also noun. Gandhiji is noun. Greatest is adjective, so it will go under adjective. Was under verb. In under remaining words. Strength is a noun under subject. God is also noun under subject. So we have all the words actually here concentrated on this left hand side. So let's see. First we have to choose the subject from where our sentence will begin. So his, there is no previous reference, so that means sentence cannot begin from his. A name, we don't have name, we have Gandhi ji here. As such, any other name is not there. So Gandhi ji, we will begin the sentence from here only. Gandhi ji's. So now greatest adjective, it can go either with belief, greatest belief, or greatest strength. So you have to choose. Most likely it will be with greatest strength. So let's write it using greatest with strength. So Gandhiji's greatest strength. So the verb now is was, was in got. So let's cut what we have used. So we've used Gandhiji's greatest strength was in God. So his belief is left. So his belief. So Gandhiji's greatest strength was in God. So where can his belief come? So Gandhiji's greatest belief, if we write, then again his strength is left. So Gandhiji's greatest strength was his belief in God. So this becomes the sentence and it is easier to decide. Next is the. So we will quickly write it below our equation. So the will go under remaining, weekend under S, I under S, can under V, love under S, down under remaining, be under verb, I under S, myself under S, because will go under remaining, and under remaining, and dress under S. So now let's do it. So we have to decide first what is the subject. So most probably it will be I. So I love. So I love myself. If it is I love myself, the sentence is complete. Then no other word is required. But there are so many words. So I love myself. Then there is because also here. So I love myself because. So after because, nothing is there to connect. I love myself because I can dress. This doesn't make sense. So let's change it. I love weekend. So maybe this can follow. I love weekend because. So let's first write these. I love weekend because. Now what is left? So I love weekend because. So what can I do during weekend that I love it? So I love weekend because I can. Yes, so because I and can. I can dress down and be myself. So how easy it was. So I love weekend because I can dress down and be myself. So sentence is solved. Now this one. So again quickly under the equation, finish will come under V, work under S, early will go under remaining, one you can write under S, can under V, go under V, and under remaining, under remaining, for under remaining, walk under S, and once under S. So it is related to some work and early. So going for a walk. So it says that one will be the subject. So one can finish one's work. So there's one's also. So one can finish one's work early. So okay, that's done. One can finish one's work early, but we are again left with so many words. So one can finish one's work early. Then there is go for a walk. Yes, go for a walk. And there's and. This is a compound sentence. So and will be combining these two independent sentences. So one can finish one's work early and go for a walk. So this becomes the complete sentence. Now this we have a longer sentence. So let's try to do this. So first let's write all the words below the equation. So covered, it is a verb and will go under remaining, under remaining, hardly under remaining, hat under S, see under V, he under S, could under V, his again under S, wore again it is V, face under S, you under S, head under S, that under remaining, his under S, and big is the adjective. So we have only one adjective here, and so many nouns we have, and nouns and pronouns to decide which will be our first subject word. So here let's see. So hat, if we have hat, so hat covered something, and we have wore also here. So if we begin our sentence with he, so he wore, so what he can wear? He can wear hat. So he wore we have a here also. So he wore a hat. So we can write here he wore a hat. So big adjective is there and it can go with hat only. So he wore a big hat. So let's eliminate what we have already written. So big is done, hat is done, he is done, wore is done, and a is done. So he wore a big hat is done. After that, what happened? What that hat is doing? So that covered. So that hat, it covered his head. So it obviously hat is covering the head. So that covered his head. And after head there's a comma. So it's okay. He wore a big hat that covered his head, and you could. So here what else we can write? We have see. So you could see his face. So you could see his face. But when it is saying that there was a big hat that covered his head, so the meaning should be that you were not able to see his face. So that is why this word hardly will come. So he wore a big hat that covered his head, and you could hardly see his face. So now all the words are utilized, and we have been able to make a complete meaningful sentence using this equation and using the elimination method. Now the last sentence. So repeatedly his CEO has rejected Bean proposal by the. So writing, we have written these words under the equation, and now we have to decide first which will be the first subject word. So it is his, then CEO and proposal. So CEO has, if we begin from CEO, it will be CEO has rejected proposal. CEO has rejected his proposal. And here it is the. So, okay, the sentence will make sense. The CEO has rejected his proposal. But we are left with these words then, been, repeatedly, and by. So if it is by here, so that means by CEO. So it's CEO has rejected, that is okay, but by CEO means CEO will come in the end. So we have to make his as our first word. So his proposal has been rejected by the CEO. So let's see, all the words are done. His is done. CEO proposal we've used. So we've used rejected, we've used been. So his proposal has been rejected by the CEO. So repeatedly is left. So now we have to fit in the word repeatedly. So his proposal has repeatedly been rejected by the CEO. So repeatedly is again an adverb, and how to decide where to place an adverb. So three common rules I'm going to discuss. Now here, when it is she rarely comes out of the house. This is another example, then I'll discuss. Now here you can see the verb comes. It is a single word verb, comes. So when a sentence is having a single word verb, then adverb is placed before that. So rarely is coming before this single word verb. So this is first rule. Okay, let's take another example. He will probably ask her to leave. So probably is the adverb. Now here the verb is will ask. If it is a two-word verb, two-word verb will and ask. So otherwise the sentence is he will ask her to leave. But there is a word probably also. So then adverb will come between the two-word verb. So he will probably ask. It will come before the main verb but after the helping verb. So this is the second rule. In case the verb is single word, then adverb is placed before it. In case the verb is a two-word compound like will ask, then the adverb comes in between it. And in case the verb is three-word like has been rejected. So has been rejected, this is the verb. So if it is a three-word verb compound, then adverb is placed after the first helping verb. His proposal has repeatedly been rejected. So these three main rules for the placement of adverbs you can learn. Otherwise, it is again a very vast thing. There are so many exceptions to it. But for you, for solving the jumbled sentences or jumbled words, this is enough. So this was the equation method and the elimination method to solve jumbled sentences. So that one sentence that is stuck, we were not able to do. So utilize and use this equation to solve it. So that's all for today. I hope that you've liked it. So subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. Do tell me how helpful did you find it. In the playlist, there are all other videos and all the related videos to your syllabus. So you can go and watch and follow me on Instagram so that I keep on uploading and I keep on writing there about my next videos. Thank you very much and